Hey there, toy collector friends and Transformers fans in particular. Welcome back to the channel. I am the time-travelling toy collector, and this is the premium finish studio series Bumblebee from the Transformers range, produced by Takara Tomy. Now, I've seen some mixed reviews for this piece, and again, as many of you are aware, I haven't been back into collecting Transformers for quite some time. So when I saw this release come out, I thought, well, actually, I don't have a current Bumblebee in my collection. So what could possibly go wrong with picking up a premium finish edition from Takara Tomy, who I know from listening to some excellent YouTube reviewers like Prime vs. Prime, Optibonomus, and others. Takara Tomy produced some fantastic figures. So I went ahead and I ordered this one, and this arrived, and it's it's a nice box. It's got shiny letters for premium finish, just to really stress how premium the premium finish is. The box shows us Bumblebee in a bit of a fight mode. You can see he's got some attachments for his arms. And there he is in VW mode, which is, if I'm honest, what I really wanted was the Volkswagen Beetle mode of Bumblebee. I don't have it in any other iterations. So the box takes us, gives us the obligatory product shots along the back. And you can see Bumblebee doing a bit more fighting posturing and some running posturing. And, shiny holographic stuff confirming it's VW approved. And lots of other stuff that I'd love to say I can read, but I really can't, because it's, for me, quite unreadable. So not an awful lot to talk about in terms of the packaging, and definitely not really anything I can comment on in terms of, anything extra. It is just a box with no plastic windows to tell me what's going on, but then that may not be a bad thing in the interest of environmental security. So that's the box, lovely premium finish. I'm excited. So opening it up, out comes the figure, and here's the figure. So I'll bring him slightly more into shot for our benefit, and then I'll zoom in as well for your benefit. Well, for all our benefits, really. So here he is. Here is premium finish. Takara Tomy's premium finish Bumblebee. Now, in this lighting, as I'm looking at it through the screen, so apologies, as I'm seeing it in real life and I'm seeing it in the screen. In this lighting, the yellow doesn't seem to be too bad. In the figure itself, it's extremely pale, and to the point where it looks somewhat anemic. So apologies if you are in yourself anemic, but Bumblebee should not be looking quite this anemic. It has posability in terms of his arms, but he feels extremely fragile. And I know I have Transformer anxiety when it comes to some of the new figures, in terms of being able to transform them. I'll bring him a bit closer. You can see slightly more accurately what that paint looks like. It just looks like a really, to use a really poor analogy, it looks a little bit like the sort of American squeezy cheese that you can have on hot dogs and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. So there is some nice paint detailing. You've got some nice silver. There is some sculpted detailing around the feet. You can see there's gears. There's a real suggestion that he is well articulated as a robot, which is great. But then there's an awful lot of rear kibble, which I was going to talk about his face sculpt, which I will do in a second. I mean, basically, a VW is clamped to his back. So it's not quite what I was hoping for. But don't worry, it's not just on his back, it's also clamped to his legs as well, which makes some of the posability tricky because we have no clearance. So there was no way of tucking, apart from changing how he's supposed to look. Also, this section here, and I'm sounding really down on this figure, but more on that in a second. But the pose, yeah, so posability, generally speaking, is fine. All of his limbs work absolutely as you would hope they do in a premium finish figure. This section here, I'm not even sure this is right, and I've watched a few other people's videos as well. Because when you get him out of the box, most like a lot of Transformers figures nowadays, there's a little bit of adjustment you need to do to the robot form. I think of Studio Series 86 Jazz. There's some tucking of his backpack. This was horrible. I really did not enjoy this at all. I thought I was going to break something, particularly the plastic windshields. I thought were going to suffer trying to get this to clip in and fit in his back section. I think it's right. It's certainly a close approximation, and it's certainly the best it's going to be. There is some more detailing there on his arms. We'll come in close on the old face. We have got relatively traditional looking. Well, I say relatively traditional looking. Traditional in terms of the Bay movies. Bumblebee face, but that's fine. I can work with that. It's just, I can't put my finger quite on why, but there's something about this Bumblebee figure that I find a little disappointing. I look at then some of the others that were available to purchase, which had a bit more battle damage or a different shade of yellow. And I think, well, maybe I've missed the mark on this one a little bit because I should have gone for one of those. But the idea of premium finish did attract me. I just have to be honest, I can't see anything in this figure that screams premium finish. And I can only agree with fellow, well, I say fellow, I don't mean to hoist myself on them, but with other reviewers online, again, like Prime versus Prime, who said something very similar about the colour, and there's just something that doesn't quite make this the figure I was hoping it was going to be. As I say, I really only picked him up because I really wanted a Bumblebee in my collection, because I want to obviously have some Bumblebee action in some of my toy photography, as you'll be undoubtedly aware. But yeah, I was disappointed. There's something inherently disappointing. There's a lot of, again, because of the kibble, there then becomes quite a bit of hollow space. You can see right through his back there. Hello. It just doesn't strike me as a very well considered piece of engineering. I'm sure it's excellent in terms of other bits and pieces. His head is so stiff, I literally didn't think it was posable. So when I was moving it prior to recording the video, I thought it's about to snap off. You know, there is some posability in there, and I'm going to make the best of it because I've bought him. I don't dislike the figure unduly. I just think the figure is lacking somewhat. Quite what I expected, I don't know, but I just expected more, which I fully appreciate is an unhelpful comment. So I'll try and stick back to some positives, if indeed you think they are. So Premium Finish Bumblebee also comes with these accessories in a bag that I haven't yet taken them out of, which is an alternate faceplate, which you can see there, and some of his weapons. I'm going to take them out now, just so that I can see how we go with them. I'm imagining, because I've not checked yet, although I have seen from the pictures, yep, so this weapon attaches to his arm there, very straightforward, and this one seems to be a peg situation, so it could possibly be that his hand unpegs. Fantastic. Okay, just like that, so that was easy. Not too sure how that then fits on there, if it does at all. So I'm making a bit of a ham-fisted effort there. So I'm probably doing this completely wrong. People are screaming at me. I'm very aware of it down there. But what I'm trying to point out from this is, it doesn't really tell me or show me anything that is very helpful in terms of how to make that work. So I'll reattach his hand there. I'll disattach this mini sword that was attached to this side, which does just tab in very straightforwardly, which is pleasing. I don't know if there's a different situation over here in terms of untabbing. It doesn't look like it. So again, I can't meaningfully see how this attaches as a thing. So I will have to do the shocking revelation that I'll have to actually read the instructions. But we talk about the instructions, and let's see what the instructions have to offer. They're just here, bear with me, as if by magic. So the instructions, again, linguistically, I will struggle with these. They are pictorial, however. Yeah, so they are. Let me fold that down for ease. Sorry. Apologies. But yeah, so it is mostly done through the wonders of visual representation. I'm just hoping that it'll actually work as it suggests, because I have had trouble in the past with transformations that are frankly nerve-jangling, because I'm convinced I'm going to break something on my not too inexpensive transformer. So in terms of his robot mode, yeah, I quite like him. I quite like him for what he is, but I can't shake the feeling that I kind of feel he should be more than he is, considering he's some sort of premium finish figure. There should be just something a little more. And I know that's a really ambiguous and frankly rubbish observation to make, but it's difficult for me to express quite what I mean without you having him in hand. And if you have him in hand, you may already be experiencing the same thing. Anyway, I've not yet transformed him. This is going to be the first time I've ever done it, so I'm going to try and wave my magic fingers and see if I can move time forwards, and then I will tell you very quickly, I hope, just how straightforward or simplistic the transformation was. I will be following the instructions, and also do look at the instructions regarding the attachments, because just maybe I'm being a bit dim, not impossible, but I do like to be able to figure out how to do stuff sometimes without looking at the instructions, and I've got literally no hope with this figure. Okay, so give me seconds and in YouTube land, and I will see what I can do in terms of transforming premium finish Bumblebee into premium finish Volkswagen Beetle. As if by magic, Shazam. And as if by magic, here we have Bumblebee premium finish in his Volkswagen form. I say as if by magic. The edit probably makes it look like it was seconds. This nightmare scenario took me over 40 minutes. It took me over 40 minutes to transform Bumblebee from robot mode, and it still isn't tabbing in. It still isn't tabbing into the way it should do. And it's, yeah, I think I've discovered what it was about this model that I didn't, that I perhaps preemptively didn't like. Now it's a good job I don't do these as transformation tutorials, because the language that I used was inappropriate for family rated YouTube videos. Actually, you see it even now, it's falling apart around the edges. There is frankly too much Bumblebee to cram inside the parts that form Bumblebee. There's a little head looking out, much like he did in the Bumblebee movie, going, this wasn't good. And it isn't good. It's a very unenjoyable, and it's coming apart again. I mean, I'm going to hopefully not swear. Apologies if I swear. I'm not going to swear. I'm better than that. Tell you who isn't better than that? This premium finish figure. It's not better than that. Yeah, there are numerous... I'm just going to show you that. There are numerous tabs that it's a complete and utter farrago to try and get them to line up. And we've got arms that push out of sync, and of course as the minute they do that, everything else falls apart. And here it is, all falling apart before your eyes. And I will fight very hard to keep mine, but because the arms have pushed up, it's not going to get any better. It's all just going to fall apart, and the doors are going to fly off, and everything's going to... But you can see from this that everything is just crammed up. up inside a very small space, and it doesn't stay. Now, I could well be doing something wrong. I could well be doing something wrong, and I'm sure that I probably am. But to be honest with you, that I don't buy, and I don't collect, and I don't entertain the idea of engaging with Transformer products. I know some people do, but I don't do it to be bamboozled by the transformations. I mean, the lining up of the tabs. In the majority of cases with figures, I always give the figure the benefit of the doubt, and I assume that it's me that's doing it incorrectly somewhere along the line. It's me, and it usually is, you know, it usually is. But I mean, this is just horrible. I'm very disappointed with this figure, and I can't actually tell you how disappointed I actually am. And again, it may well be me, and I will have more goes at transforming it in my own time. But in terms of, you know, a premium finish, and again, I know premium finish tends to suggest the paintwork or any, you know, any surface level kind of work that's done to improve the appearance of the figure. But if you're using the word premium, it needs to do what it's supposed to do, and frankly, all I want it to do is transform from a robot into a Volkswagen without it taking up too much of my day. And frankly, it's taken up too much of my day. What I can say is you've got these windows here, which are very nice. You've got nice detailed window wipers there on the front. The general outline is very recognisably a VW, even though it won't stay in one piece. But there's just too much Bumblebee crammed up inside. It's you know, I'm accustomed to working with what's referred to as, you know, shell formers and parts formers, and this is just a disaster former as far as I'm concerned. Again, it may be me, but it's the amount of time I've given it. This isn't, you know, a particularly advanced model. But it just doesn't align well, and once you align, everything just pops it out of alignment. And you know, I may have a dodgy issue, it may be me and my incompetence, which is where I tend to go with this, which is why I tend not to show people me transforming these things, because I think, well, actually I'm not, you know, especially if it's the first time I've ever done it. I like to get used to the nuances of it first. Figure out if there's anything particularly noteworthy or tricksy about a transformation that I can then share with yourselves. But everything about this one has been a problem. It really has been a problem from beginning to end, and it doesn't really redeem itself with what you can see on the inside. You know, I'd like to be able to say, well, actually, amazingly, the robot is packed up inside, his arms and legs are out of the way, and we see some seats and some blah, blah, blah. But no, we can just see all of his innards crammed up inside through the windscreen, through the back screen. And it's just, yeah, it's just dreadful. I'm going to go and watch, or see if MGo's got a video that shows how to transform this little nuisance. But yeah, I came very close to having a proper Transformer related tantrum trying to put it together. I didn't find it therapeutic, I didn't find it fun. I literally found it very irritating, and got to the point where I was like, I'm wasting too much time trying to transform this guy. I want to go on. I'm just going to show you where we got to, because as I said, this took over 40 minutes, and it really should not be doing that. It really should not be doing that. For me, I mean, I fully appreciate there are some particularly complex transformers out there in the world, and they are designed to be complex transformers. Bumblebee, this size Bumblebee should not be classified as a complex transformer. you know. And it's a shame, because if you look beyond the lack of effective tabbing, which again could be me, you can see that there is the makings of a really good VW mode. But unfortunately, every iteration and every thing that I do, don't tell me that's just made it work. Well, it hasn't, but I will pretend it has. Is frustratingly insufficient to make it quite what I would be hoping for in terms of this class, this price point. And you know, let's not forget, they've chosen to put the word premium in there, so I would like a premium finished model on every level. So, you know, I love Bumblebee as a character, always have, loved him in the cartoons, loved the original, had the original. I won the original as a figure for getting a letter published in a Transformers comic, but that's another story for another day. But this I was hoping for greatness, and I got whatever this is. So yeah, not my finest hour, definitely not the finest figure I've seen from Takara, Tomy, and from the Transformers range. I don't like doing negative perspectives on products, because I know that a lot of people are invested in and love them. I'm one of those people, so you know, I do get it. But unfortunately, it seems that in every instance, there's just something about this. If you can see what I'm doing wrong here, then, you know, message me and tell me. I'd appreciate it. Let me know on my Instagram page as well. Send me a DM there. But yeah, so a little bit deflated, a little bit disappointed. The figure's posable, that's great. The car probably, and I will spend more time playing with it and trying to get it into some semblance of order. I even fell back on the old Transformers ploy of, we'll just keep scrunching it together until everything just sort of fits into where it's supposed to go. And even that didn't really work, although it helped a little bit. But yeah, it really just feels like it's a couple of stages of engineering away from being the premium finished product that I would have really liked to be able to recommend to you as fellow Transformer fans and toy collectors. Yeah, I mean, that my little scooching it together there hasn't been too bad. It's kind of holding now, but I'm looking at it and I can see the various places where it isn't quite right, or isn't quite holding together, and it's seconds away from popping, probably when I pick it up and touch it. So before I do that, I'm just going to thank you for sticking with me for the last 20 or so minutes. I very much appreciate your company. Similarly, if you found this useful, it's given you an insight into premium finished Bumblebee, and you've decided that you definitely want to add him to your collection so that you can show me how it's done, and by all means do that, I would be very grateful. And I'm sure Takara Tomy would find that a much better representation. But whether, you know, if you found this in any way useful, positively or negatively, around the figure, do like the video, hit the like button, give me a thumbs up, and possibly drop a subscription to the channel. Usually I don't have this negative view on products, even where the products aren't quite 100%. I do try and find the positives in them. And again, this probably has a lot going for it, but I've talked myself so far round into not. I'm struggling to find anything additionally positive to say. I can't even tell you the colour's good, and whilst I'm on a roll, I can't even say to you, and I really love the positioning of the Autobot symbol, because you know what? Autobot Bumblebee, where's your Autobot symbol? Where is it? Because I tell you what, is it hidden somewhere around the lights? No. Is it here somewhere? No. Where's your Autobot symbol? No Autobot symbol. So, you know, it just goes from bad to worse, really. There's no stickers in the box, I checked. So it's not for me to apply. I might have to get, well, I mean, I don't know if I don't think the Autobots would want this figure affiliated with them, to be honest. Anyway, I'm going to park that there, figuratively and literally. As I say, like the video if you found it of any use, or you just have the deepest of sympathies for my experience. By all means, it's for you to go and have a play with to see if you can do better than I, and I'm sure you probably can. I got mine, I think, through In Demand Toys. There's also Kapow Toys and Forbidden Planet and various other means and outlets for Transformer toys here in the UK. I believe Big Bad Toy Store in the USA is a good go-to place as well, if you are so inclined. Anyway, as I said, you have been a fantastic audience to spend 20 or so minutes with. Thank you for joining me with Premium Finish Bumblebee. Goodness gracious me. I have been the time-travelling toy collector. I look very much forward to seeing you in a more positive video in the future. And do remember that a thing of beauty, which I've yet to decide whether or not this is, truly is a toy forever. Take care. And Bumblebee, roll out to that damn trash can. Bye for now.